Far above the Earth, from outer space, you can see its importance, its vastness, its dominance. Our blue planet, as it's called, because of one vital substance, water. Immense bodies of water that make up over 70% of the Earth's surface. Fertile bodies of water that spawn and contain life below, and maintain life above, from the shoreline, in the air, the mountains, and even deserts, because it is all connected. And without the ocean, without water, life on Earth, including us, would cease to be. Join us as we explore the interconnection of all life, of all species, to the ocean. We'll meet people doing incredible research to increase the chances of ocean species survival, and others who are performing heroic rescue efforts. We'll examine the current conditions of the ocean and uncover some of the things impacting it today. Finally, we'll reveal action all of us can take, no matter where we live, to keep the ocean clean and healthy. Yes, you can see its importance, beyond its vastness and dominance. It is vital because it's something all living creatures share. Our one ocean. The ocean is amazing, and for all we know about it, much still remains a mystery. What we do know is there are 4 ocean basins on our planet: the Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, and Arctic Oceans. Almost 71% of the Earth's surface is covered by ocean, and it contains 97% of all of the water on Earth. It's estimated that between 50 and 80% of all life on Earth is found in the ocean, and it's believed that we have only begun to scratch the surface in discovering and classifying many marine species. We know the ocean provides food for humans and other species. In fact, fish are the single largest source of protein consumed by humans the world over. But the ocean is much more than a source of food. For centuries, and still today, the ocean has been used to transport people and cargo to other places. 90% of the trade between countries is still carried by ships. The ocean both drives and moderates climate and influences weather conditions. The year-round conditions, as well as daily wind, rain, or clear skies, are directly tied to the ocean's influence. The ocean provides a number of life-saving products that support health and healing. One example, the structure and chemistry of coral is so similar to human bone, it has been used to replace bone grafts in helping human bone to heal quickly. The ocean is one of our greatest energy resources, providing oil, wind, and tidal power, all of which can be used to run engines, turn turbines, and provide electricity. Boating, fishing, water sports, snorkeling, wading, whale watching, sunsets. The ocean provides a lot of things for humans and other animal life, but let's face it, it's also just a fun place to be. It's apparent that we need the ocean. But in turn, the ocean needs us to be good stewards. So many things we do can impact the ocean, in positive or negative ways. And you don't necessarily have to live on the ocean to have a major effect.
No matter where you live, you're directly connected to the ocean. The ocean sustains life on Earth, and it's everyone's responsibility to care for the ocean. And there are simple things that each of us can be more aware of and alter in our everyday lives. For example, being conscious that what washes down the storm drains, like right in front of your house or the school in your neighborhood or your place of work, understanding that everything that washes down that storm drain, from soap to oil to trash, ultimately finds its way to the lakes and rivers in your own community and then ultimately back to the ocean. So you may have heard this phrase before, but it's actually a true statement. All drains really do lead to the ocean.
All drains lead to the ocean because everything eventually flows to the ocean: rivers, streams, groundwater, and it's all part of the Earth's water cycle. Since it's all interconnected, this has an effect on marine life, land animals, vegetation, and ultimately, us. So what can we do to make sure the ocean stays healthy? A lot. And there are people out there every day acting as stewards on the ocean's behalf. But how do they know if there's even a problem?
We've had 2 dolphin die-offs in the last 7 years, and at this point we do not have a clear-cut answer as to why these animals are dying, which makes it even more important to keep monitoring the population.
Since 2002, Hub's SeaWorld Research Institute has closely monitored the dolphin population in the Indian River Lagoon, an offshoot of the Atlantic Ocean in Melbourne, Florida.
So Wendy, most of the time you think of dolphins as being ocean animals. Why are there dolphins in the Indian River Lagoon?
Well, this is actually an estuary system, so it's a mix of saltwater and freshwater. It's not as salty as the ocean, but it is good habitat for dolphins to live in. And actually, this is an estuary of national significance. There are hundreds of fish species that live here. There's great seagrass beds, and it's a wonderful place for a dolphin to live.
But at times, the dolphin population seems to fluctuate.
In 2001, the Indian River Lagoon dolphin population experienced a die-off, which was declared an unusual mortality event. When these animals started experiencing a large die-off, we got concerned. It was then that we realized we really didn't have a good idea about how many animals live in this estuary or anything about their distribution or movement patterns either.
In order to learn more about these dolphins, the Institute started conducting what's known as abundance surveys. By air and water, they literally count and track dolphins and their patterns in and out of the lagoon and ocean. From this baseline count, they can better understand the patterns of healthy dolphins, but also understand more about distressed animals as well.
It's very important to know how many animals live here in order to help them. For example, if we have a large number of animals die, we don't really know what that means unless we know how many live there. In addition, if we have animals that are being affected by different human activities, such as maybe boats or fishing gear, we don't know how significant that is unless we know how many animals live there.
But the dolphins aren't just affected by human activities. Weather events can have a huge impact as well. The unusually cold Florida winter of 2010 caused Wendy's team to work overtime as they saw an increase of animals in the lagoon in search of warmer waters and food, as well as numerous dolphins with critical cold water lesions. And although they were on hand to help dolphins affected by the cold, many other species were in severe distress as well.
Basically, the waters that were behind the Barrier Islands and the lagoon system got very cold. Those sea turtles that are trapped behind the lagoon system are going to get cold stunned and perhaps die.
The ocean's coral reefs contain a tremendous diversity of life. In fact, there are about 4,000 coral reef fish species worldwide, accounting for approximately a quarter of all marine fish species. Although coral reefs comprise less than 0.5% of the ocean floor, it is estimated that more than 90% of marine species are directly or indirectly dependent on them. The ocean is home to so many different species of plants, animals, and other marine life. So many factors have come together to make it a healthy home. And although it seems strong and mighty, the ocean is a delicate balance of all those factors. Weather is just one thing that can affect sea life, and the cold winter of 2010 wreaked havoc on Florida's Atlantic coast.
Cold-stressed or cold-stunned sea turtles are actually pretty easy to identify since they can't move. They're either floating at the surface or they're beached somewhere, pretty much immobile.
The sea turtles responded well to help from SeaWorld and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission.
SeaWorld took in about 289 sea turtles, mostly green sea turtles.
Come here, you.
Basically, the process for rehabbing cold-stunned sea turtles is to put them on some nice soft foam and keep them out of water for at least 24 hours until they can warm up. If we put a sea turtle that's not warm enough in the water, it could possibly drown. So we actually keep them out of the water long enough to warm them up, and once they become active enough, then we'll put them in the water to water test them. And once they're water tested and they can do that successfully, then they're candidates for release.
And the good news is, in spring, nesting behavior and egg laying resumed as usual, so the outlook is good for a successful hatching season. And this is where you may be able to help.
If a beachgoer encounters a sea turtle nest or a sea turtle that's nesting, they should absolutely not touch it. Go ahead and watch it, appreciate it, but don't shine any lights on it or touch it or harass it in any manner. Make sure you keep a safe distance away and encourage others to do the same thing.
Ocean health is influenced by human activity, and in some cases, that activity can be catastrophic. In the spring of 2010, an explosion in the Gulf of Mexico on an oil rig called the Deepwater Horizon proved to be a fatal accident. 11 men and women died on this oil drilling rig, located off the coast of Louisiana. But this was just the beginning of a tragic sequence of events that would impact millions of human lives, coastal beaches and wetlands, countless land and marine animals, and an enormous stretch of the Gulf of Mexico.
Once the oil is in the environment, it is throughout the environment. So you have to remember that what we're seeing on the surface and on the beaches is only part of the story.
It shouldn't take a major catastrophe to open our eyes. And when it comes to the health of the ocean, it's not just the responsibility of corporations or the government. Every day, every one of us does things that affect the ocean in positive and negative ways. Since everyone shares in its many gifts, all of us can become more aware of how we can work together to take better care of it, no matter where we live or what we do, how big or small we think we are. We can all take a part.
There are a lot of volunteer outfits and outlets available for people to contact and learn about opportunities to help. Also keep in mind that even if you live very, very far away from the Gulf of Mexico or any ocean, the opportunity to help people in your area who are doing animal rehabilitation on a daily basis, animals that are not exposed to oil but are still in need of medical treatment and support, need your support as well. So contact your local rehabilitation experts and ask how you can help them.
It's estimated that about 90% of the evaporated water in the hydrologic cycle comes from the ocean. As it cools, this water falls to Earth as freshwater rain, where it starts the cycle all over again. A healthy ocean is crucial for all living creatures, land, air, and water, to survive. We depend on it for food, transportation, oxygen, and other valuable resources. So exploring, learning, and understanding all we can about the ocean and what lives in it will serve us and our entire planet. Our oceans have already suffered immense damage. Entire populations of fish in the communities and economies they support have collapsed. Dead zones, vast areas of ocean that can no longer support life, are spreading throughout the marine world. So you can see how necessary marine research is. It provides critical information to help us gain insight into the ocean and its inhabitants, and may ultimately impact our survival. Every day, people just like you are involved in preserving the ocean.
We have a need, we have a project, and remarkably enough, we have a resource, and that is that very skilled and experienced and dedicated and committed people who become these volunteers in the program, and we have about 200 volunteers now.
In the Atlantic Ocean, the endangered right whale has been the focus of Marineland Right Whale Project in northern Florida. They are committed to connecting citizens with scientists to help track these animals and protect the marine habitat vital to the species' survival. Each year, from December to March, female right whales migrate south from Canada to warmer waters off the coast of Florida to give birth and raise their calves. During this time, volunteers and research teams line the beaches along Florida's east coast to document right whale sightings, and you never know when the call will come in.
At 7:45 this morning, my phone rings, and a volunteer, or perhaps just a citizen to whom we've given one of our phone cards, picks up the phone and say, "I'm seeing whales out here." So we get a call, We know approximately where the whale location is, and we have volunteers that we call, and they run out with their bags and their binoculars and arrive on site. The team, of course, has already started the data recording, and we go down with the big camera so that we find out which individual this is. They're all individually identifiable. You know, they have these callosities on their head, and every animal has a unique pattern. So in our program, there's a tremendous emphasis on photography. So we try to get the pictures, then we come back with the photo analysis in the lab.
This type of data has been recorded since 1979, and it is used to identify animals year after year. It helps document information about the overall population, their patterns and behaviors, their habitat, and potential human impacts on the whales. Visual cues and GPS measurements give vital information on whale activity, direction, and swim speed, all things that can help prevent human-whale accidents.
One of the things that we participate in is this early warning area to warn shippers about the presence of right whales and take avoidance measures.
About 82% of the nearshore habitat is monitored by the Volunteer Sighting Network, and you can't underestimate the power of this group. They serve as the eyes, ears, and voice for right whales in coastal waters of Florida.
Once they've seen a whale, and once they have their first sighting, and once they're standing on the beach with a pair of binoculars and they see a mother calf playing and splashing and fluking and flippering out front, they're hooked. So now you have great volunteers, and you also have people that are going to be stewards. So it all, all these pieces kind of fit together.
We're out here off the coast of San Diego watching gray whales. And what's cool about this is we're with a group called Ocean Connectors, who we've supported through the SeaWorld and Busch Gardens Conservation Fund for many years. They take students from the United States and connect them with students from Mexico, because that's exactly where the gray whales migrate. It takes all of us working together, and these students are learning that and communicating with the students from Mexico as well to figure out what they can do to help the whales.
On the Pacific Coast, whale watching is just one of the activities these students take part in to be responsible stewards of the ocean. It's a day filled with learning about the endangered gray whale, its amazing 10 to 12,000 mile round-trip migration, and what they can do to protect its habitat. So much to discover.
What did you learn about whales before?
Before we even learned anything, we learned on where they were heading and what did they eat.
Okay, so tell me, where were they heading?
They were heading to Mexico.
And why did they head to Mexico?
Because it's warmer.
Good. And what else are they doing down there?
Because they're going to have babies.
Yeah, very good.
So, you can see there are things researchers and volunteers of all ages are doing to help the ocean. What about you? How can you make a difference? The ocean was thought to have a limitless amount of fish, but we now know this isn't the case. Many of the world's major fisheries are severely depleted. That means more fish are taken from the sea than can be replenished. Fish supply the greatest percentage of the world's protein consumed by humans, so it's up to us to be responsible consumers. Because think about it, where would we be without fish? For years, the nonprofit SeaWorld and Busch Gardens Conservation Fund has supported programs that help marine life in their home, the ocean. Important projects like the Indian River Lagoon Dolphin Surveys, Marineland's Right Whale Project, and Ocean Connectors. SeaWorld has answered the call for animals in peril by responding to countless rescues, rehabilitation, and releases of whales, dolphins, penguins, pelicans, sea lions, and more. Organizations like World Wildlife Fund invite input for innovative ideas that support ocean health.
Smart Gear is a competition designed to inspire innovation in fisheries gear to help fishermen fish smarter. Scientists estimate that more than 250,000 sea turtles, just leatherbacks and loggerheads, just those two species alone, are caught each year as fisheries bycatch. Bycatch is what fishermen catch unintentionally in the course of catching the fish that they want. The hooks that are normally used for longline fishing are shaped like J's. If we use hooks that are shaped like circles instead, fewer sea turtles will be caught. It's a simple, powerful change that can make a great difference for sea turtles and allow fishermen to keep fishing, to catch the fish they need to eat, to sell, keep the fishery alive, and also keep the sea turtles alive.
We've learned that we're all interconnected. We all share our one ocean, so we're all responsible for what happens to it, its inhabitants, and ultimately ourselves. It's up to us to manage our impact on the ocean. It's up to us to develop healthy habits, protect biodiversity, and make sure that the ocean can be sustained and remain stable for generations to come. So, what can you do to help? There's plenty, no matter where you live or how old you are. Just step up, show up, and take action. Here's how. When dining, make smart, sustainable seafood choices. There are all sorts of resources you can use, like the Monterey Bay Aquarium Seafood Watch Guide that will give you tips on what's good for you and the ocean. Take part in a beach cleanup. And if you live inland, make it a river or lake cleanup. Remember, everything eventually makes its way to the ocean. Be wildlife considerate when boating, jet skiing, snorkeling, or diving. Know what's legal in your area. Put trash in its place so it doesn't end up hurting sea life. Balloons, old fishing line, water bottles, plastic. Make it your goal to leave the environment in better condition than you found it. Be mindful of what you put down your sink or in your yard. Remember, all drains lead to the ocean. Use ocean resources wisely. Be a conscientious automobile driver. Keep your tires filled. Watch your speed, and use gas wisely. All things that add up. And finally, support businesses, organizations, and programs that participate in ocean research, species conservation, and habitat protection. Get involved by donating, visiting, or volunteering.
You know, when you think about wildlife conservation in this country, that a tremendous contribution to wildlife conservation is made by volunteers. You can think about the Monarch Butterfly Program and the Audubon Christmas bird counts and groups like River Keepers up there on the Hudson River. We feel that we are now part of that universe where here's one more example of a volunteer program that is contributing to wildlife and habitat conservation. So we're happy to be a part of that kind of a category.
Our one ocean. It's vast, it's powerful, and it's fragile. It's an important part of our home too, and it's critical to our survival. And we have our chance, our responsibility, to protect and preserve it, and make a world of difference.